Hi everyone, I'm JD from Willowbound Journals and welcome back to my channel. I've got another Junk Journal with Me episode working in my vintage journal. Absolutely love this journal. I'll link the playlist below of previous Junk Journal with Me episodes I've done in here and the stories behind the pages if anyone is interested. But in this journaling session, I'm going to be working across 3 page spreads. And I'm using Daphne's diary pieces throughout the pages. So basically Daphne's diary is my favorite magazine. It's the only one that I get. And I love cutting out pages and words and pictures from the magazine that I can use in my personal journaling. So this first page that I'm working on here, it's recording my love of vintage treasures. So each page in my vintage journal I like to have it work as a kind of theme or story that shares something meaningful to me. And so this page spread is dedicated to my love of vintage treasures. Excuse me. So I've got here 2 beautiful doilies. These came from France. And I bought some vintage French ephemera and papers from France through Etsy. And in some of the packs they came with these beautiful doilies. I just love them. I've been saving them for quite a while. But now I'm kind of trying to make myself use those special treasures. And what better way to use them than in a journal. So finally pulled out these doilies. And I'm adding them to this page here. The reason I chose this particular page spread for this theme of vintage treasures is because the left hand side is vintage ledger paper and the right hand side it's a page from an Edith Holden book, and I just love the vintage tones of the pages there. So I've just got the larger blue doily that I've glued down, and then I'm going to overlap the pink one. And I was just trying to figure out the best way to make them all visible and have those layers, sort of making a little collage and having a bit of the vintage ledger peek through as well at the top. And then this pocket here, this comes from Amity Bloom, and I just absolutely love her colour scheme with the pastels. And this page is a very pastel blue and pink themed page, so it just all ties in really well. And I especially love this pocket because it says she has a love for vintage treasures, so that fits in with the page spread, but also because it has my favourite thing. Whenever I look at pieces for journals, whether it's pages or adding journaling space, what I want is a piece that has decoration on it but also blank space to write. So love it. Now over here, I've got some words that I cut out from the magazine, In Love with Vintage Charms. That's like my title piece for the page. I cut out this piece here with the blue flowers, the glass bottle. I'm not sure if you can see it, but there's a ballerina in there too. And I love that blue tin, and there's also that lady in the blue dress, and it kind of just reminds me of a vintage French lady illustration. And then over here, this little piece I cut out because it has these jewellery pieces. I'm not sure if they're brooches or rings. I think they're rings. But you hopefully can see that there's 2 blue jewels, and I love blue and I love jewels. I love pretty sparkly things, gemstones, crystals, all that kind of thing. So this picture just really spoke to me. Just laying that at the top and arranging it again in a little collage so that we have the layers and you can see each piece. So I'll just glue this one at the bottom. And I love vintage treasures. Anyone else out there with me who loves vintage? It wasn't really though until I discovered junk journals that I fell in love with vintage. So that's kind of what I'm documenting with this page, is how my journals and journaling and discovering junk journals led to me falling in love with vintage treasures and adding this new love into my life, if that makes any sense. So yeah, I'll record that down there in the journaling space. But I don't actually journal in this session. I'm just preparing or pre-decorating 3 page layouts, and then I'll go on off camera and do my journaling. I'm sorry if I repeat myself in this video, because I've tried filming this a few times and this is my 4th go, I think, now, so I forget what I've already said or haven't said. I also apologize if the video is really quiet. I'm aware that lately my videos are very quiet. I'm not sure why. I'm not very tech savvy, so I apologize for that. I film on my iPad. I have for a while now, so I'm not sure what's changed or why it's changed. I've tried turning up the volume, turning down the volume, doing it in between, and it still appears to be quiet, so I don't know why. Hopefully you can still hear me okay. So yeah, I was playing around with putting those words on the left-hand side page on the top of the doilies, and I think it could have worked there as well, but in the end I just wanted to cover up the leaf. That wasn't very interesting to me, those leaves, so I just put it there. And then over here, this is the next page that I'm working on. So this one has some craft paper on the left, and on the right hand side was a page from Daphne's diary, so perfect. It's already kind of decorated for me. Here what I'm going to be recording is just my love for Daphne's diary. About how this magazine really inspires me. I love Daphne's spiel, so I cut this out. It says, "Hello, I'm Daphne. Let me introduce myself to you," and she shares about herself. And I love reading that. I love anything where people introduce themselves and I get to know about them, and to be able to say it like that in a short, succinct way, so that I can tell, oh, this is the things that person thinks is important about them, and this is what's meaningful to them, and I get to see this little snapshot of who they are. And yeah, I know, I just really like it. So it always inspires me reading those things about people. You know, when you get books and you read about the author and you just find out a bit about them and just what's important to them and what means something to them. I don't know, I love that. And so I get inspired by her spiel there and want to write my own spiel. So I'd write something like, "Hello, I'm JD. I love blue and sparkles and cats, and creating and writing and reading and movies and music and psychology." I don't know. And I really love how Daphne's Diary, the magazine, has kind of these sections of things that Daphne loves, and essentially her magazine is just things that she loves. And so for her it's cooking, craft, travel, interior design, gardening, vintage, that kind of stuff. So for me, I'm like, oh, I want to come up with like a little list of the things that are most important to me. So instead of coming up with like 50 things, because I just love so many different things, to come up with a distilled list of, like, if I had to choose my absolute favorite things or the things that mean the most to me, what are they? And yeah, I think that would be a fun exercise, and perhaps that will be a future journaling prompt for us to do. Anyway, moving on. So over here we are doing another page spread, so I'm just using the back page of that Daphne's Diary page, and it has butterflies on it. And so this works really well because, as you can see, this page has a blue butterfly, and it's got a very special story. So basically, the lovely Charity sent me this beautiful entry to the Blue Butterfly Challenge that I ran a couple years ago now. So the blue butterfly is like my junk journal symbol. It's how people know me, through the blue butterfly. And I even have a blue butterfly for my wall at home too. And so yeah, over here it's just a letter that I'm cutting out, or an envelope, sorry. And when Charity sent me the Happy Mail, she had little envelopes with notes about the order to open them. And so I opened this one last, and inside was this Daphne's Diary packaging with a hand-drawn blue butterfly from Daphne. Now, we don't know if it's actually literally from Daphne's own hand. Maybe one of her staff did it, but still the sentiment is so meaningful to me, and I just thank Charity so much for that special gift. She asked Daphne to draw a blue butterfly for me that she would send to me. Like, who does that? It's so sweet. What an amazing gift. So definitely wanted to record this in my special journal here, where I'm putting my special treasures. So thank you so much to Daphne and to Charity for this beautiful gift. I'm gonna, the blank space on the envelope is where I'm going to write my journaling for this page. The pink rose I also cut out from Daphne's diary, and that's just Charity's letter that I'm tucking in behind the pocket. That's her letter explaining about the blue butterfly that Daphne drew. So I ended up sticking the pink rose on the left hand side page just to balance it out, because the envelope is pink on the right hand side, so to give something pink on this side. It took me a little while to figure out where to place it. I'm going, should I put it at the top, down the bottom? In the end, I think I angle it a little bit because I didn't want to cover up the blue butterfly. So yeah, I hope you are enjoying this Junk Journal with Me episode. These are my favourite videos to watch and to film. I just love seeing people use their journals and seeing their writings and photos and ephemera. It just always makes me want to get into my own journal. But what are your favourite videos to watch, and what videos inspire you to want to just straight away get up and open up your journal and get in there? The other videos that I love watching most are the ones where I see finished flip throughs of people's filled up journals. It's just so inspiring, and anytime I'm feeling unmotivated, I just watch one of those videos and it just makes me want to open up my journal, flick through the pages and stick stuff in there and write down things and record memories. It's so good. I love it. So yeah, I am still just playing around with where to place this flower. I did cut off those leaves. It looks a bit weird now, but my priority was to make sure the blue butterfly wasn't covered in any way. And so now just gluing this down. And so those are 3 pages dedicated to my love of Daphne's diary. I one day was hoping to play around with my own kind of version of it. The ladies were suggesting instead of Daphne's diary, I could do JD's journal and have a magazine of my favourite things. So it would have something like my love of journaling, my love of writing and books and movies and music, philosophy, psychology, theology and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, just a fun idea. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.